Right then, so we're live. Right, so today then, I just want to check everyone is okay, and have got the technology. Probably people have got different amounts of technology, and not everyone will be able to join us here at our normal class time, which is why I'm recording it, because if you can't make it, then that's fine. As long as I know you're here and I can put you on the register, I can always send you the recording of this. As far as what we do or what I record, I can do things like I can bring up my presentation, my Adobe. I'll give you an example. So let's imagine I wanted to show you today and talk to you about the circulatory system. Then I could bring, now in theory, and you can tell me if you can't see it, you should have anatomy and physiology, week 10 home study.
Yes.
Can you see that on the screen?
Yeah, got it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this is exactly the sheet or the PDF which I sent you all through by email, which has basically got all the anatomy we haven't done and physiology we haven't done to the end of the syllabus. So I've sent this to you as a PDF already. So what I thought, I mean, for some people, you may find that you prefer just to sit down, go through it in your own time, digest it, and then send me any questions. If other people prefer to go through the sections bit by bit with me, because that's an easier way to learn, then that's fine as well. And we could use this time to do that. So for example, if I was going to do a presentation on the cardiovascular system, I could bring it up. I'm basically just bringing up the PowerPoint. So I could ask you, people out there in A&P land, what is the purpose of blood? Can you name anything that blood travels or transports around the body? And you can feel free to chip in with anything. Silence. Tell me, what is blood transport around the body, people?
Oxygen.
Oxygen, that's one. I reckon we're looking for about 5 or 6.
Where's my print out?
You're trying to find your notes. No crib sheet. It's off the top of your head.
I printed it out. I've got it as flashcard. Can't find it.
No. We have to have a trust thing here. I don't even want you to read out the answers. It's always that Antoinette, isn't it?
Sorry, I didn't get any
So what else does blood move through?
Hi, Dave.
Hey, Dave.
Hiya.
We got you.
I
Good
sat
to
there
hear you,
for
mate.
3 minutes thinking Matt's quiet, and then it was like, oh, okay, maybe I should come back and join again.
I'm glad you're with us, Dave. So we were just asking, what else does blood carry around the body? We've had oxygen. Okay, what else?
Nutrients.
Hormone.
Nutrients. Thank you, Dave. That's 2. If it carries oxygen around the body, i.e. it takes oxygen from the lungs to the tissues, what does it also take away from the tissues and out the body?
Waste.
Waste.
Waste products. For example?
Sweat.
Can someone just close the lounge door for me, please?
Carbon dioxide.
So yeah, so waste products. In the background, you're going to hear my 2 lovely children. But yeah, so oxygen in, CO2 out, nutrients. Anything else? Does blood move around the body? What about if you cut your finger? What's the blood going to move there? You're very quiet. Imagine you've got a nasty cut on your hand. What is the blood going to take to that cut? A couple of things I'm thinking of.
Antibodies.
Very good. So there's going to be some form of defense. So the white blood cells in the body are going to rush to that area, which is why we get inflammation.
And clotting, isn't it?
Very nice. She's got her notes. Clotting factory. Antoinette is suddenly going to get an IQ of 300.
She hasn't.
I see you, Antoinette.
So yes, clotting factors. So in the blood, on the diagram on the page, on the slide which you're looking at, okay, who wants a difficult question? Who hasn't said anything yet? Daisy, which of those on there do you think are the red blood cells?
I can't see. Oh, this picture, this is one.
Yeah. In that picture, which do you think are the red blood cells? It's not a trick question.
The red ones.
The red ones. There you go.
It's
warming up at the moment. Okay. And what do you think the So
Can anyone hear me?
So we've got the red blood cells on there, and then also we've got, well, they look a bit yellow, but they're the white blood cells you can see, which there's far less of. And then you can see some kind of like raisin things in the background, which are actually the platelets, okay? And they're the cells or fragments of cells which are used for clotting. So things that the blood transports, somebody mentioned oxygen, nutrients, okay, which Dave said. Hormones is another one, which gets moved around the body, depending where they're needed. Heat is another one, which is transported. So if we're cold, we rub our hands and the muscular activity moves the blood towards them and they get warmer. Protective substances, which is the white blood cells if we cut ourselves, and then also clotting factors, which are called platelets. So if in the exam you get a question about what are the functions of blood, basically just think, what does it carry? What's being transported from A to B? Because blood is actually a connective tissue. It's just a liquid connective tissue. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Cool. So I'm not going to continue this presentation now because I'm missing your wonderful feedback, so you can actually see, right, yeah, this would be good for some of the systems which I'm not competent with. Some of them you think, no, I know about that, I don't need to learn. So we may find from week to week, some of you will come in and go through the systems, and other people might not because they think they don't need to go through it. But basically, I'm just going through the sheets you've got so you can pre-read, you can test yourselves. I will stop and ask you things like, okay, we can do 55% of plasma. What else is in that test tube on your screen? What's the green and blue in the middle, or what's the red at the bottom, and things like that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I can bring them up. We can do things like, I'm just going to fast forward. Later on, there are things like gap fills. So I could leave it on the screen. I'm sure I've got a gap fill here somewhere. Bear with me. There we go. I could leave a gap fill on the screen for 2 minutes. Again, ask you just to try and fill them out on a bit of paper, and then I could read out the answers for you. So it's just different ways of learning things and getting information through, so that when you guys finally do the A&P exam, the multiple choice exam, it's there, and we can crack on and get that part of the qualification out of the way. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right, I'm just going to stop sharing so I can see your wonderful faces again. Let's get rid of that. So does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I prefer to come on each week and do this, and I think I prefer to learn that way.
it's a totally personal thing, but I think as a framework, as an idea, then that's what we could do coming up. We could look at a system a week. If you feel that you want to go through that particular body system with us on video and answer the questions and that, then fine, you stick around for the video presentation and the chat. But if you feel, no, I don't want to, I've got something else to do, then just let me know. I'll mark you off on the register, and then you can do your thing, and you haven't got to sit around with something it's not really going to help you. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
What I can also do is I can record them anyway. And if you prefer to look at them and learn them in your own time, then I'll put the recording, I'll share that in the classroom, so you can always have a look at that. Right, I'm going to stop talking now and hear from you guys. So take turns and just give me some feedback on what else you think might work or not work, or any other concerns you've got.
Matt,
Yes.
I just wanted to ask about the assignments. Can we just crack on with all of them right now we're not at college?
With the pathologies?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think now, if I haven't seen one of yours yet, then maybe send me one of them just so I can check that you've got the right format.
I think you did see mine at college, but it was too
I saw
long.
yours, Shirley, yeah.
So just shorten them, yeah?
So yeah, basically the only rule is make sure you're doing 3 to a page.
3 to a page, yeah.
Put some nice bold titles on them, dress it up so it looks easy to read, and some 2 references at the bottom, which can be just copy and paste a website, or it could be the name of the book you've got it from, something like that.
Okay, thank you.
And you can feel free to send me those as and when, so I can actually start printing them out, putting the cover sheet on them. I won't be able to give them back to you, but what I can do is just put them in a little slip so that whenever we do manage to meet up again, then they'll all be ready for you and we can just put them in your folder.
Okay, thank you.
Very good. Other concerns? Who else is out there?
Was it 30 words for each, Matt, or did I just make that up? So I did some earlier and I thought it was about 40 or 50 words.
So the pathologies, Dave, well, depends on the size of your... Well, actually, probably just so we can fit 3 pathologies on one side of A4.
Okay, I've sent you what I've done for nervous system anyway. I've sent you what I've done for nervous system.
Oh, I'll have a
Tell
look at
me,
it.
you know, if they're too long or short, whatever. Yeah.
Matt,
I'll
is
have
there
a look at it
anything
and
should we be, obviously, if we're talking about the pathologies, are we putting the causes and also treatments, or just causes?
to fit in,
And where the pathologies come
onto
from.
one size of A4, that kind of gives you a clue how much information you can go into. Really, so you can, in order to fit that in, it's no more than saying what it is, maybe what type of organism it is, maybe what the symptoms are, if there's a cure. By the time you've done that, then you'll probably run out of room. So it really is a case of, it's just a little research project which external examiners will have a look through your folder, and they just want to see nice 11 different pages, 3 pathologies on each, and that's it. Then they sign it off.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Forgot about my cup of tea. More questions, people? Isn't it just?
No. No, I haven't got any more, Matt. I'm good.
No?
Go on.
Okay, so just, Dave, you got something to say?
Yeah, it isn't like a pathology isn't just something you can catch, is it? It's any condition or disease within that thing, isn't it? Within that system. Because all the ones I did were like ones that you get, like genetically or whatever.
So a pathology, is a disorder of the tissue or the nervous system. It's not necessarily caused by a living organism. Obviously, it can be a bacteria or a virus or a fungi, but it may also be an infestation. So it could be a critter of some form, or it could be something like an autoimmune disease. It could be something to do with just a skin condition, like too much melanin, not enough melanin. So you've got your vitiligos and your albinism. So yeah, it can cover any of those 5 categories. Just another word for disorder.
Okay, cool.
Is that cool? Are there any questions?
How are you surviving, Matt?
How am I surviving? This is being recorded. I'm on cam. Everything's fantastic.
Yeah, I saw that.
Ask me when the recording button gets off. That's all good. Hey, welcome to Georgia is here.
Hey.
Okay, if you've got any serious questions now.
Hello, Georgia.
Has everyone met Georgia already?
Yeah.
Georgia, say hello. Your mic's off. Just check if Georgia can. Oh, there we are.
Yay! I'm just listening. It's so slow.
Okay, we'll ignore you, Georgia. So just for the benefit of Georgia, I'm just going to quickly show you again, guys, just so you realise. So if you choose, look through your A&P PDF that I've sent you, so you can see all the body systems which we haven't been through yet, which could come up in your multiple choice exam. I will go in order. So as of next week, what I'll do, the next one is going to be the first in your file, which is the circulatory system. So everyone come and, if you can, just to get on the register and raise any concerns, because if you've got a question, it's probably a question which somebody else has got. And then once we get into the actual presentation, then what I'll do is it will be recorded, and I will share my screen, and we will crack into the presentation. So for example, if I just get rid of that, I'll just show you again, present now my entire screen. Get rid of that. Bring this up. And we end up with, this is halfway through, but we end up with the presentation on the screen. And I'll be able to present it to you in a way that will be a bit more learning than just sitting down and looking at the slides like we did before. Okay? You'll be able to pre-read it if you like that form of learning. You've got an idea of what's going to come up and you can just test yourself. But other people prefer to start from scratch and have me introduce it bit by bit rather than suddenly looking at a slide full of information. Okay, it will be recorded. So if you can't make it, I mean, my biggest concern is I don't want anybody to get stressed out. There's enough happening at the moment. And believe me, I've got a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old, and 2 of us trying to work remotely from home. So I know what it's like at the moment. So if you can't make it, okay, I can send you the recording. We can do a one-to-one thing at some point. If you email me, then we can find a time I can get together you one-to-one in the chat room, and you can go through it in your own time. So whatever way we can just keep the anatomy ticking over, because once this is over, hopefully, the idea is we can just crack on and put you through to the exam, get that out of the way, get your qualification, and return to life as normal. So whatever system works for you is the best system. Let me just come out of this. So that was the presentation we can do. I'm just going to stop sharing my screen. I'll come back up here. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did that work? Quite a 16-year-old makeup student. So there we go. That's the plan. So as always, it's 3 o'clock. Turn up. So I can tick you off on the attendance list. It's still important to have a paper trail where you've actually attended the classes. If you can't attend, let me know and I can put you down as sick. We've also got a particular letter to put into the register if you've been isolated or something happened where you're not sick but you can't appear for whatever reason. So let me know so that your attendance stays on track, because that's one of the prerequisites of the actual course. And if you've got a question, put it in the chat room in a private message to me at any time, 24 hours. Obviously, I won't get back to you straight away, but I will see it eventually and get back to you. We can organise a one-to-one video or something, or just chat it through if you've got a particular concern. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So what I want to do now is, some people aren't quite so happy talking on their microphones in this, so I'm going to come out of the video call now and see you back in the chat room so you can just type stuff. If you want to. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Okay then.
All right.
Right. So let's close this down, and I'll see you back in the chat room. Okay.
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 Bye.
Yeah, bye.
Bye.